Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It is in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a watch that launched in 2022. In fact, it's an update to 2016's 5930 World Time Chronograph. This is the 5935A-001. It is a 2022 steel iteration of the older 5930, which means all in stainless with a salmon dial. It's a pretty sporty model. It's large too, at 41 millimeters in diameter, 13.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip. It's 49.7 millimeters with a broad 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and I would say that you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15. We'll do a quick down the barrel shot. That's always the definitive angle for a watch's fit. You can see the lugs are near the edge of my wrist, though not quite over the edge of my wrist. And when viewed from the top, the lugs still have not projected beyond my wrist. They're right out to the edge, but two things. One, I'm pulling the strap tight, and two, this angle always overstates the width of a watch and makes it look larger than it is. This is the true angle, and you can see the lugs are not over the edge of my wrist. So 15 centimeters and up, you are big enough to play. The case flank, thanks to the bezel, is sloped. It should fit underneath most dress cuffs and all jacket sleeves. The strap is dark blue with a monotone stitch, folded edge, a Patek Philippe factory strap, calfskin on the top, calfskin on the bottom, and you can see the use of Patek's pull tab spring bars so you can pop the strap off the case without a tool. We have a matching stainless steel folding clasp with a snap-shut friction fit system, and externally the Calatrava cross, which is the symbol of the manufacturer. The whole idea behind a deployant clasp is to create a loop so it's harder to drop your watch while donning or removing it at bedside. The case is very similar to the 5930, but it's in steel. Everything's in high polish. The lugs are stepped out kind of dramatically from the case band, giving the watch the visual impression of being bigger than it is. For the most part, all the surfaces are sheer and flat. We have a sort of cylindrical case band. We have a little vertical lip to a conical bezel that has a final flange adjacent to the slightly boxed sapphire. We have vintage-inspired rectangular chronograph pushers, and again a crown, a push-down crown with the Patek Philippe logo, the Calatrava cross. The watch is 30 meters water-resistant. You can see that these chronograph pushers in rectangular form were inspired by vintage pieces. They're satinated on their sides, but then their outer faces are polished. The dial is salmon metallic with some silvered and blackened elements. Patek describes the center dial pattern as a carbon pattern, so presumably they mean woven carbon fiber. All of the indices, as well as the hands, are blackened white gold, and this is a sporty dress complication. It's steel, it's automatic, it's well loomed. It's also a chronograph, and not just a chronograph, but a flyback chronograph. Reset and restart without first stopping the mechanism. Let's demonstrate how the world time system works. Okay. Based on Louis Cotier's ancient circumferential world time reference rings, this system has a little bit of an upgrade pioneered by Patek that allows you to quickly change your reference city. So right now, I am in New York, and you can see that the time is 5 a.m. You know that because the 24-hour reference ring, which moves in a counterclockwise direction, you read the hour adjacent to each city on that ring. And you can see how there are two semicircles. One is dark, that's roughly the area where it's night, and then the other is silver, that's roughly the area where it's day. So I know in New York it is 5 a.m. I know that in Moscow, when it's 5 a.m. in New York, it is 1 p.m. I know that in Sydney, it's 4 hours to midnight, so it is 8 o'clock in the evening. And you can tell that just by looking at all of these cities and the adjacent hour. Now, if I want to switch my reference city, let's say I want to go to Paris, or if I want to go to Geneva and visit Patek Philippe. Now you can see the watch does all the math for you. When you pull out the crown, you can make adjustments that will roll the 24-hour reference ring, and you can see it moving in real time. The watch is fairly dead. if you don't run the chronograph, as there are no moving parts, or at least visibly moving parts, when the watch has the chronograph stopped. Because this chronograph uses a vertical clutch coupling, you can actually leave it running full time without wear, tear, or hazard to the watch if you like to have your center seconds. And although the watch does not have a hacking function, if you set the time precisely and then zero reset the chronograph, that will act effectively as a zero reset hacking system. There is a column wheel. It's a very positive feeling, the column wheel, super crisp in its action. Flip it all over, you can see Patek Philippe's manufacture caliber 28520HU for heure universelle. It is an automatic winder with ceramic bearings and a unidirectional winding action for efficiency. That energizes a 50 to 55 hour power reserve. There's the world time, there's the flyback chronograph, you've got the vertical clutch column wheel architecture. It is a free-sprung balance gyromax style, an innovation Patek originally introduced in 1951. It is adjusted in 6 positions. You can adjust a gyromax balance very precisely. Also, because it doesn't have a moving adjuster index, you cannot displace it by shock, making this a more shock-tolerant system. There's also a Spiromax silicone hairspring that is anti-magnetic and also highly resistant to temperature-induced timing deviation. It's all beating away at 4 Hz or 8 beats per second. With the Patek Philippe seal, gyromax, the Spiromax hairspring, 6-position adjustment, this watch is guaranteed to run no worse than -3 + 2 seconds per day from Patek Philippe. And the timepiece features handsome decoration, a judicious blend of manual and mechanical finishing. Unlike, say, AP, JLC, or FP Journe, Patek gives you a larger balance of manual finishing on top of the mechanically finished elements. So that's definitely something that I appreciate. And then all this is pivoting on 38 jewels. Lots to love here. A sporty dress watch from Patek that sacrifices nothing in elegance. A great way to wear steel Patek Philippe without going Nautilus or Aquanaut. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.